Alright, guys. Um, Last of Us Season 2, Episode 3 review. I'm gonna keep it try and keep it short this time. And once again, I have made some notes, so let's go. This episode was more somber, where we spent some time grieving for Joel, in particular, Ellie, Tommy, and Dina. Well, obviously a lot of people are upset about it, but those are the main three. And Ellie wants to get revenge, and they have this whole town meeting to decide if they are going to go as a group rather than just Ellie and Dina. And they vote no, they vote against it, even though Seth stands up for the idea, which is interesting because in the game, Seth was not really a character at all. It was just one scene between Joel and Seth where, he calls them Dax and Joel pushes him. That's it. But in the show, they make him a real character, which is kind of funny. Um, yeah, I kind of like Seth. Everyone seems to not really like Seth, but he came around. Um, Even though he called them Dax, I would accept his apology and just move on. And he did help Ellie and Dina later in the episode when they decide to go after Abby by themselves. So, yes, positives is that the filmmaking once again is really good with the set design. Yeah, the set design is exactly like the game, which is really, really good. And it's impressive, like um, when eventually they not stop grieving for Joel, but they are kind of finished with those scenes where they go to his grave, etc. And they enter the forest and they start the journey, and you see the cars that are just like the game, where it's like full of dust and sort of uh, bushes and things like that. That's done really well, and I appreciate that kind of set design or that kind of artistry where they actually pay attention to the details of how they did it in the game, and I think they did it really well in the show as well. So that's my main positive takeaway, which has been really consistent throughout the show. And so, yeah, that's really good. And so then I kind of get confused a little bit as to why they change a bunch of things with the story, which is when I just don't really know what to think about it because they just change what happens in the game. So it's basically not a completely different thing, but it just changes the dynamics of the characters and how we see them. So, for example, Tommy now wants to stay in the town and he's not that concerned about Abby. Whereas in the game, he is really determined to get revenge. In fact, he leaves before Ellie and Dina even try and go after Abby. And we find that out through Maria. Maria tells Ellie and Dina that Tommy has left to try and find Abby and go after her entire group, her entire group, and then they go do the same thing in the game. Whereas in the show, uh, Dina keeps some information from Ellie while she's in the hospital having some uh, PTSD, which was actually a pretty good scene that wasn't in the game, um, where she's in the hospital and she just starts screaming and having flashbacks of Joel being dead in that lodge. So yeah, that was done pretty well. The problem is that the entire time I'm not emotionally attached as much as I did with the game because It's just slightly different characters. Like Bella Ramsey's Ellie is just different from the game, and I prefer the game version. So the emotion of all that is just when I watch it, it's not really there. They do the scenes well, and I see what they're going after, but the entire show seems to pander to people that have not played the game, but are just watching the show for the first time without any extra knowledge or context of what actually happened in the game. And so, for people that watch haven't played the game, this show is probably way more enjoyable and good. Whereas I do think the show is good. It's high quality in terms of the filmmaking, as I said, set designs. Acting could be slightly better. It's like I don't know. Sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it's kind of a little bit strange. Like there's a scene closer to the end where Ellie finds the Scars dead, and we assume that Abby's crew killed them, and there's a whole minute where Ellie is just staring at them, and I don't know. It seems like she's acting well, but yeah, I don't get it. It just looked a little bit awkward because you would think she wouldn't be that shocked to find dead bodies since she experienced the entire season, I assume she went through a bunch of situations where there would be dead people. So for her to stare for like a minute straight, just I don't know, doesn't quite make sense. Um, what else is there? Hold on, I'm just reading my notes. Yeah, so they swap things out, they change a bunch of stuff. There's no like council meeting or anything in the game at all. I just keep noticing things that they change from the game. And that's pretty much most of my review is just things that they change from the game. Like I don't really know what to say. I will give my technical score at the end of my review, but it seems like uh you know most of my notes would be things that they changed from the game. Um yeah, they show the scars. Prisoner, yeah, done that. Oh yeah, some of the dialogue could have been better in terms of the wording of things. Yeah, yeah. So like Dina telling Ellie that she wasn't actually high that night when she kissed her. Yeah. We already know that Dina likes Ellie, even though she says she's not gay, which I don't understand. She's bi. Okay, so she's bi, and I don't understand the point of that dialogue. We already know this. It's one of those things where it seems pointless for people that play the game because we already know this. They like each other um, in a romantic way. So she says she wasn't high when she kissed her, which means she actually does like her, even though it's a, uh, I don't really care for that kind of thing. What's the point of that? It's information that we already know. Show don't tell. That's the old classic thing. And they did show it by showing us that during that night they kissed. So now, oh, okay, we know that they like each other. So, she doesn't say, I wasn't actually that high. So I actually like you, Ellie. Okay, we get it. Yeah, seems like they want to pander to people that have not played the game, but instead of just watching the show. Yes. And so in general, these changes make me think that the game actually did it better, which I don't know, that's kind of complicated because some things I think the show does better, like in episode 2 when Abby says she wants to kill Joel slowly, and she actually does it slowly, whereas in the game she just hits him over the head with the golf club really quickly. So some of that logic is better in the show. But then they do random things in the show that just makes the game better. So I don't know. I would have to finish the entire show first, and then I guess we can evaluate if the show is better than the game in reality. And then after the season is done, that's not actually the end of the season. They are probably going to continue. I believe season 3 will just be the continuation of the second game because it's quite a long game. So they had to separate it between 2 seasons or maybe even more than 2 seasons. I don't know. I don't. I'm just gonna keep this short. I'll let other YouTubers um cover all the other details of stuff. I think the show is good, high quality in terms of filmmaking, and all the small details, as I said, it was like episode 1 where the snow falls from the ceiling, in episode 2 with uh, the infected looking great. In episode 3, the cars when they come out in the forest. In general, every single uh, set design is amazing, just like the game. And so from the filmmaking aspect, each episode is getting like pretty good ratings, like somewhere between a 7 or an 8. But from a story point of view, I have to give it a lower rating because right now I think it's slightly worse than the game. So that's where I don't really know what to give the actual episode score because I don't want to make it seem like I didn't enjoy the episode from a filmmaking point of view, but from a story point of view, it's not really my cup of tea. So yes, filmmaking I would give it once again a 7 out of 10, and as a whole, every single aspect, thinking about everything, I would give it this episode in particular a 6 out of 10. I'm not saying it's bad, but uh, you know, I'm not really filled with excitement or like, wow, this is really amazing. When I finish the episode, I'm like, all right, that was good from, you know, I don't want to repeat myself too many times, but the filmmaking is pretty good, but it's just not that satisfying to watch. As someone that has played both games and went through this journey multiple times, I'm kind of just, yeah, I'm kind of tired of talking about this story in general. I just wish the story for the second game was much better, and then probably my overall rating would be much higher. And yeah, um, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.